Guys, in this video I'll be reacting to why old British woman vacation in Jamaica. Let's see what this video is about. Let's go.
For the sake of younger ears and proactive minds, certain words have been watered into the term ice cream and ice cream eating. In a world as big as ours, there's a lot of beauty to be found in it. You look to the left, you see the trees, you look up, you see the clouds, right? It's a lot of beautiful things in the world. Take the
True.
beaches of Gambia, for example. The picturesque destination has a lot to offer. Many tourists are often left fulfilled with the experiences, right? You also get to meet new people, and if you're lucky, maybe you fall in love with a local woman who might turn out to be the love of your life. But I have to ask, is it really all this colorful? Everything I've just described, it sounds like this came straight out of a Hollywood movie, right? But what if I tell you that what's hidden behind all of this beauty is a side of tourism you might never expect? Possibly a side which you never considered before. A side that sees STDs. A side that sees cheating rampant.
Now,
Leave the husbands in the UK, come here and have fun with a black man, and then go back to the husband in the UK, yeah.
And a side of heartbreak.
do you guys know what I heard? I heard that white woman does go to Jamaica to, sleep with a man. But I don't know, it don't make sense. And I also heard that those men use this woman to get a visa and all this nonsense. I don't know if they are true or not, but apparently they are. So let's keep seeing or hearing what Tundre have to say.
Leaving many people in over their heads in dangerous situations. What am I talking about? Well, let's look at the bumpsters of Gambia. Imagine yourself on Kotu Beach, all relaxed. You're probably wearing palm print shirts. You have a shade on, and you're staring at the beautiful setting sun. A couple passes in front of you. It's a young local and a white woman who's probably old enough to be his mother. You might remove your shades and stare at that scene for a while before probably brushing it off as just luck on the woman's side. She's bagged herself a younger guy, right? That's what you're thinking. At that moment, you see, you weren't exactly wrong to have viewed them in that way, right? But there's an unspoken dynamic between those couples you just saw. A dynamic that sees the local being termed as a bumpster. By definition, a bumpster is someone that's known as a beach boy, who is typically a
Yeah.
young man that is a member of the host community. This person frequently hangs around tourist areas and they pretty much prop the older woman up like a mechanic and they change her oil. If you get what I'm talking about.
I have a question, but why though? But why though? I mean, what is there in it for the black man? Because I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, in the situation of them getting like a visa, that I get, but for you to get a visa, I mean, you gotta like be in a relationship with the person. You gotta marry that person, right? But in this case, it seems to me like the woman is using the black man, and maybe I think they enjoy it. Otherwise, the man wouldn't do it. So maybe they both, get satisfied at the end of the day. Which, yeah, women just go to Jamaica, sleep with the black man, and dip, and the black man just be out here just sleeping with anybody. That's crazy.
For these bumpsters, their ideal target, as you may have guessed from the couple you seen earlier, is older women. Many of these crusty old women travel to
No, you didn't. Are you currently so crusty? I mean, hey, listen. Let me not say nothing. Let me not say nothing. Let's keep playing.
Africa from the West in search of beach boys to date and pay for sex.
Yes, the excitement. Let's go to some
Oh, okay. I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. Because okay. Now it makes sense. Because at first I was like, what is in it for the black man, right? But if they getting paid, it makes sense. But if they're just doing it for free, it's kind of like, that's weird. But if they getting paid, I can understand why they would want to do it. So now it makes sense.
Proof is that most of these young guys, they don't even like these crusty old women, and they're pretty much just doing it for money. But
Mm.
why would anybody want to be a bumpster in the first place? I mean, in the name itself, it seems like it was coined from the word bum and dumpsters.
Mm-hmm.
But like most things, right? You've got to look at the economics behind it, right? Many of these beach boys that you're seeing are dropouts who stopped schooling because they believe that being bumpsters pay more than an average job.
Seen a lot of white women, older white women with young Gambian guys out here.
I know what the Gambian boys are up to. Better way of living. Because all of them are living not so good. In a room, no cupboards, just a bed, nothing. So if they can find a woman that they can, all the woman wants is love and they can give them love, they're going to do it. They're just looking for a way out.
I mean, all you got to do is see the size of their customer base to understand how much money these guys are making. If you know anything about Jamaica, you know that there's never a shortage of crusty old women along the shorelines of Jamaica. In Jamaica, for example, the men have developed a reputation for being able to keep going for an hour. Someone who went on a Jamaican trip said this.
Hold on. I don't know why I think this is so funny. Like, okay, it shouldn't be funny because they are catching STDs and stuff like that. They ain't cool. But unless you know what, it's your life. Y'all do what you want. Do what you want. But whatever.
On weekends, we had off, so we'd go to the beach, and these young men would walk up and down the beach. They'd do push ups, they show off their muscles, trying to woo us. You'd see them with these old hag women at restaurants and shops. It was so bizarre. So far, we've seen a side of tourism that we never usually see. But what about the people who frequent these tourist areas? What about the women that go? How about we take a closer look at the deluding culture of hedonism? Hedonism is a movement that began in the 5th century BCE when Aristophus, a hipster, a philosopher, began to advocate for a life full of sensual pleasure. He maintained that the greatest good in his life was the pleasure of the moment. In modern day Jamaica, there is a resort dedicated to the teachings of our wise hipster. We get a good glimpse of this resort from the story of a woman who goes to this pleasure resort located in Negro, Jamaica. It turns out this
Hmm?
resort was actually built by the Jamaican government, meaning that whatever goes on in this resort is entirely legal.
Come on, get up. Get up. Come on, what are you doing, lady? This how you doing it?
What's wrong with it? He said that he comes with it. That's what everybody does when they come to
No,
Jamaica.
my friend. Come on. You see that he
You
didn't have
get
to
one
smack
too.
it?
You get one too.
No, what, man? I didn't want no massage from him.
You get one too.
Come on, I seen the slap. I get the rub.
You have a female to do for him?
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot my friend. You want a girl to come and do it?
Yeah.
And a lot does go on in these resorts. Some of these things this woman experienced in her time were full frontal nightly swinger parties and many more levels of depravity. It wasn't
Mm-mm.
uncommon to see an all girl action going down in the room next to yours. After all, many hedonist centers like hedonism too are gender insensitive. One can always find love in any gender he desires. And if that wasn't wild enough, right? Many
That's
people as
crazy.
young as 19 are encouraged to try out this resort and almost advertised to them like it is the new arcade that is down the block. Married couples are swapping with other people to do things. They're doing some sneako stuff. They're doing some Adam 22 stuff.
Mm-mm.
Let me tell you, don't go to hedonism in
Negative. No.
Jamaica because that's a swingers resort. And you'll be sitting by the
What's
pool
it
with
called?
it's a hedonism. It's a swingers resort.
Mm.
And you'll be sitting with your wife, and a man will politely come up and say, "Hey, could I have your wife or could you my wife?"
And we'll pull out a 10 inch on your wife. You got the regular.
No, they don't gotta pull it out because you can't wear clothes back there. So you can't bring your phones and you can't wear no clothing. It's a sign.
Many people?
Yeah,
You have fun in people?
yeah.
Oh my God, let's talk about that. You guys in people?
I did.
And we see some even revisiting these centers claiming that they never miss a year. Quite the way to keep the love burning in a relationship.
So I'm super nervous. I can't imagine. But if I meet someone cute, I would love it. It just feels like it's gonna be a really straight experience. Not in a very straight.
Do you know what? I mean, if these people, if they like this, I mean, they obviously like it. That's why they keep going. So if they like it, it ain't gonna undo with me. So like, I let them live their life. You know, I don't got no criticism, nothing to say. All I can say is that couldn't be me though. But if they enjoy it, hey, yeah, it is what it is. You know.
Greetings from Jamaica. I am currently in Negril, Jamaica at Hedonism 2, which is a clothing optional swingers resort. To be completely honest, I was extremely nervous walking into this place. Didn't really know what to expect. All I knew was that people might approach me to have with me, and I was
Mm.
going to see a lot of people. So far, nobody has approached me, but probably because I'm very standoffish and cold, so people don't feel comfortable approaching me.
Research reveals that most women are likely to use protection when partaking in hedonist practices. Going back to Gambia, many of the old crusty women we talked about are more than happy to engage in unprotected action with these beach boys than with their spouses at home. After all, they get paid good money and they want to enjoy the feel. Per their words, it isn't every time they get to moist with someone who isn't their husband who can last more than 10 minutes.
That's crazy though. That's crazy.
Gottlieb alleges that the women do things here that they would never do at home. They eat the ice cream without the plastic. They walk along the beach drunk and get into cars on their own. As you can see, a lot of crazy things are going on in these hedonist centers, right? And by men and women who believe in a hedonist lifestyle, what if the high of these resorts isn't really good enough for you? Then what do you do? Exclusive Love Cloud charter jets. There's something called exclusive love charter jets, and this is how far people can go for pleasure. Here, thirsty mile high clubbers charter a love jet at a cost. They charter this jet to have their thirst quench exclusively.
A Mile High Club and don't risk getting caught. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, a new service is offering flights just for at 30,000 feet. Love Clouds. That's what the new jet service out of Las Vegas is called.
This is not funny, but what? Yeah, we okay. You know, to each its own. Just be Ari sleeping in these chats, right? And then I hope they whoever owned this thing or whoever came up with this idea, the company or whatever, I hope they cleaned that room. I hope they, actually scrub the floors and and change the bed sheets because some places they don't do that and that's nasty.
It offers a 40-minute flight over Sin City to commit a few sins of your own. The aircraft is a Cessna 421 dubbed the Golden Eagle, redesigned with a custom-made foam bed for lovemaking at the highest altitudes.
And as you can imagine, most of these swingers also eat the ice cream without the plastic on. While the pilot glides through the clouds, passengers are getting frisky in the back, trying to get full value for the $995 that they paid for 45 minutes. For those with deeper pockets and even longer thirst spells, they could get a good 90 minutes up in the air for $1,000 $495. And you're probably wondering, how is the pilot able to fly?
Yeah, I was thinking that. I was like, bro, that is so awkward. I just find that and people just in the back just doing whatever. It's like, anyway.
Fly the plane in the midst of these ice cream eating stuff that's going on? Well, for his freedom and comfort, the pilot gets to put on noise canceling headphones with curtains blocking his view. According to the pilot, some of these passengers are people who with themselves after they get cheated on by their spouse, newlywed people, and people who just can't get enough of the experience and book a time extension. There is a lot of crazy, down bad stuff going on in our society. A lot of people will do
I agree.
anything to satisfy their never ending pleasure cravings. And because of this, we have to take a look at the global market tourism. Beyond Gambia and Jamaica, there are many tourism destinations with very much darker sides. Cuba, for example, has a long history of tourism, with its most popular venue being none other than the famous Havana. On this tropical island, it isn't uncommon for you to come across many janiteras who are pimped out to tourists. By the way, the escorts are called janiteras. For these janiteras, prostitution is unfortunately their way of survival in a system that has failed them. Similar cases can be seen
Yeah, that's very sad. Yeah, this is real. Like, this is very sad. People just be standing on the streets, just flagging cars. Yo, I seen it with my eyes. I cannot lie. People just stand like on the street and they just kind of like flag you down. If they see that it's a male driving, they will try to flag you down, to give you services and for them to get paid. It's sad.
Seen in places like Sosua Beach in Dominican Republic, where prostitution is legal, encouraging many women to engage in ice cream eating practices for cash. As we've seen comprehensively in this video, a lot of things can go wrong in tourism, especially in places like this where the man holds the financial power.
What's her name? Yeah, what's her name? ¿Cuál es su nombre? Who? ¿Qué? Bonita.
So far, we've covered tourism and the risk involved. Now, what about the darker consequences of this? How much deeper can we go down this rabbit hole? I think it's time we take a trip into the darker side of tourism in Jamaica. It shouldn't come as a surprise that the mental health of many of the parties that are involved in all of this can be at risk. These beach boys are drooed on by older tourist women, with people treating the issue as a cheap laugh. This is why many of these cases involving beach boys being exploited do not get the same coverage compared to cases where women are the ones being exploited. As you can imagine, such a lack of care by society for these beach boys can leave many of them feeling worthless.
Come marry with me if you want. You don't have to ask your family. They say all my girlfriends who are married with black men.
No, but here when you want to marry and you hate my family.
I don't hate your family before, but now I don't want because they are. It's criminal to say you have to pay house. You have to pay house. It's a crime. Of course, I am not a shit brat because I have paid your water bill to $8,000, and do you think I hate your family then? But now I don't want to speak with you because you are asking me very nasty way, buy the house, buy the house, buy the car, and then they say he can't marry with you.
In some cultures, like in Jamaica, it is taboo for a man to engage in ice cream eating with his mouth. Unfortunately, many
Hold on. I think I have heard of that. I think somebody told me that before. Hold on, let me hear again because I think I heard it before.
cream eating with his mouth. Unfortunately, many of these men are left with little choice but to engage in it for as little as a hot meal and a place to sleep. Also, the high
Oh.
frequency of unprotected ice cream eating in these regions has led to HIV/AIDS becoming sporadic among the Beach Boys, with 20,000 adults and children of the Jamaican population living with HIV and AIDS.
That is a lot. That is a lot.
Health recently reported to the UN that nearly 1 in 3 young gay men in Jamaica is HIV positive. This is 20 times higher than in the rest of the population.
Yeah, which is the sad thing that happens when you eat ice cream without the plastic on. Through many of these examples, we see the role poverty and negligence plays in tourism. It's no wonder developing countries are the ones that are dealing with this majorly, right? As for the female tourists in Gambia and Jamaica, many of them get heartbroken sometimes from being emotionally attached after the marathon ice cream eating. According to one report, the women are left wondering what's going on. Sometimes the men stink, but the women like that. In fact, they actually ignore it. Sometimes they wonder why these men are no longer interested in them, feeling them to feel that their vulnerability has been exploited by these beach boys. In some extreme cases, many of these female tourists decide to move to Jamaica to start a life with the Beach Boys. And as you can guess, this is when things change for the worst, as many find themselves in extremely abusive relationship with the very men who treated them like queens when they first met. Andrea Johnson.
This is very sad. And the thing is, I know this is real because I heard, I heard of it. I mean, okay, with the whole that older people go to Jamaica. Somebody told me that people go old woman go to Jamaica, to sleep with this man and stuff like that. And man also this man used this woman for money. I heard, especially there's this show called Marriage at First Sight or something, and I heard these African men, they just try to get with this woman. All they want is a visa, and they will do anything for the visa. So it doesn't matter the drastic of the situation. Like all they want is a visa, so they will marry whoever to get it. Whoever, it doesn't matter if you're an old. It doesn't matter if you're 80 years old. If that will get them their visa, they with it. That's crazy.
And a Negro police would say that the relationship ends up sour and we have to intervene. I've seen some nasty domestic violence towards the white women who move in with their boyfriends. The men sometimes steal from the women or beat them when they run out of money. In
Mm-mm.
one story, a victim, Carrie, who found herself not being much attractive to men back home, she gave up her job, moved to Jamaica, and died abused by these men. Many of these beach boys often have wives who they've gotten pregnant, only to abandon them with babies and go on about their bumpster activities. This just shows the thought process
Mm-mm.
of a good number of these beach boys. For them, it's a numbers game. Nothing else matters but to hit it. The ultimate goal of these bumpsters is to have themselves
No.
flown out of abject poverty by these old crusty women filling visa applications for them. So, what would this say about the men and women who are wrapped up into this tourism game? Conclusion. Well, for many of these beach boys, prostitutes, and pimps, it is simply business. They take extra care to ensure this truth is kept secret from the tourists whom they've convinced that it's just beyond the money. As for the tourists themselves, most don't see themselves as predators, with many holding the beliefs that they're simply helping out. They see themselves often as white knights who, thanks to their financial muscles, are able to save these poor local guys from their harsh situation at a price. In the end, it is all a delusion and a house of
Mm-hmm.
cards that often comes tumbling at the slightest breeze. Tourism says a lot about our society and how much we have allowed degeneracy and exploitation to become normalized. It has gotten to the point where men don't need to stress themselves with the logistics of the whole affair, resulting in a culture of mail order brides that have seen thousands of women exploited and abused. And deeper, more sinister setups. Human trafficking rings have ensured a never ending supply of prostitutes for the rich and powerful to abuse. The sad part about all of this is that despite everything that we've covered, we haven't even begun to scratch the surface of the issue. What we can say at this juncture is that we live in a complex world that is full of twists and surprises. So, next time you're on vacation in all the parts of the world and you see a crusty old woman, prince, and
Sorry, but every time you say crusty, he kills me. You say this crusty old woman. I mean, he ain't lying, but it just sounds funny when you say it.
walking around the beach with her beach boy, keep an eye out. They might be eating ice cream.
Ah, that, yeah. Some people have it tough, But to betray your child and your wife to live this lifestyle is crazy. It's crazy. And this woman moving to these places thinking these men are gonna treat them like queens. Hmm. Nah. Nah. All they want is your money. As long as you give them the money, they do what you want, but they don't care about you. So yes, guys, this was the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.